Hi, and welcome to today's event where we have the pleasure to present OmniCar. From the company joining us to help us through a very, very short presentation of the news is Claus Hansen, the chairman of the board, and Michael Christensen, CEO of the company. The reason for this event is a shorter presentation of what I might call it a game changer news, a new big partner investing into the company, but you will come more into that, Claus. As always, it's possible to ask questions in the box down below. Ask in English, Danish, doesn't matter. I will try and translate it, but we will do the presentation in English. But Claus, I think I will hand the word over to you.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, yesterday was indeed a great day for OmniCar. When I founded the company 6 years ago, this was basically my intention to move into another league, and with Merkonomen on board, we are indeed in another league. We are now moving from a traditional startup company to a more consolidated company. We now have a strong foundation with a lot of capital that we can use for our growth, and even more important, we have a strategic partner with a lot of knowledge. Merkonomen, they have around 3,500 workshops spread over Scandinavian and Poland, and they also have a subsidiary, FTZ, that supplies spare parts for the automotive industry. So we have indeed a very, very strong partner with solid know-how. And on top of that, they have decided to invest 19 million kroner into the company as well. And the management team, they have also decided to invest 6 million Swedish krona into the company. So there is a lot of commitment among the main owners of the company. So we have now a very strong platform for our future expansion. And to be honest, I can't really see a more strong concept for car service and car sales with the knowledge we have, the marketing knowledge, the IT skills we have, and Merkonomen on site with the deep knowledge about the automotive industry. I think we have a very, very strong foundation for the coming years. So I'm extremely happy and excited about it. And I think we all should be that. So that's really, really great news.
Perfect. Yeah, but I think we will already go over to the question. I think the news almost speaks for itself, Claus. But maybe actually for Mikkel, the first one. I think in the last presentation, I asked you, now you're going to Jutland and more outer areas. Do you actually have a backbone? But there's a question here. As I see it, the path for open easy expansion to Norway and Sweden with low cost and big potential for growth. I don't know whether it's a question, but can you maybe try and elaborate a little bit about those synergies or this platform that Merkonomen might give you for expansion further on out in the Nordic, but also in Denmark? So what are, maybe not in total details, but a little bit about the nuts and bolts in that?
Yeah, sure. And of course, one thing for us is to have the new capital in. But as Claus mentioned, more importantly is to have the strategic partner which can support us in the journey we are on. Today we know very well Merkonomen, as we are using FTZ in Denmark already to supply us with spare parts, and this is a setup which easily could be used also when going to Norway and Sweden, because they have basically the same setup in those countries. So of course it gives us a unique possibility in terms of infrastructure, in terms of their knowledge into the industry, into the market we are in terms of customer base, etc., etc. Yeah.
And maybe a little bit a question to Claus. Strategic or financial investment, I guess it must be a strategic investment. Is it them embracing that they have 3,500 repair shops, but they can't cover everything? Some customers want the easy access to your vans and getting it out. Will there be some kind of a flow where you sometimes will lead them to a car shop because it is needed for that kind of a repair, and they will also sometimes help you if the customers, is it that close a collaboration? And is it them seeing that this is the future and want to have a stake in it? I know it's big questions and I don't know whether you can answer them.
That was a long question, but Of course, this is indeed a strategic partnership. I mean, we were in the very fortunate situation that there was a lot of potential investors that wanted to take a big stake of the company. But we chose Merkonomen because of their history and because they have, as I said before, the knowledge about the automotive industry. A lot of things are happening within the automotive industry these years. We are seeing a huge change from petrol-driven cars into electric vehicles, and how will that impact the market for service and car service and so forth. Merkonomen, they have a lot of experience from the Norwegian market as well, so this will position us in a way that we would be able to much faster adapt to any change in the market because they have such a strong know-how. So of course this is a very, very strategic partnership for us to answer the first part of the question. And the second part of the question, I forgot, what was that?
Yeah, it is more, will you some kind of help each other exchanging customers where it fits more to a garage or a work repair shop and maybe to you, or is that a little bit still too early to see that?
I think it's a little bit too early. The fortunate thing about the car market in Scandinavia is that there's a lot of, I think there's around 10 million cars in the Scandinavian market, and there's a huge potential for both Merkonomen and OmniCar. As I've said before, we have experienced extremely high customer satisfaction ratings, and I continue to say that when I speak to investors. I think we have the highest rating among any workshops in Scandinavia. We have more or less 5-star ratings, and I think the reason for that is our disruptive approach to the market, where we come out and service car owners where they have their cars, so they see that convenience as an important part of servicing cars. And I think Merkonomen, they have looked into that as well and seen that this would be a trend that will probably be developed even further over the years, and they want a stake of that market as well, and that's why they chose us. So again, this is a really fits both Merkonomen and us, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and will it impact any of the communicated targets for 2022, and maybe a little bit on the financing side? Are you very close of having closed your financing need by this transaction?
Yes, I mean, we are definitely consolidated. Of course, I'm always very reluctant in indicating whether we should need more or less capital, because that depends on our future expansions plans. But we have, of course, with this transaction, capital enough for 2022, definitely. In regards to the target, we will come out with a revised target later this month. Mikkel and I, we are working on the budget right now, and we will probably come out with a revised target later on here in March.
There's a lot of questions. Speeding up your expansion on the cars, was that the answer you wanted to give right now, where they can speed up your expansion plans on rolling out the vans?
I mean, we already had quite aggressive expansions plans. We have communicated that we want to have 20 vans here in Denmark by end of 2022. And also we have the whole marketplace for our e-cars that we will launch here in April or late March. So we have aggressive expansions plans. What this would fuel is probably that we will be able to maybe to fuel that even further, but we will, as I said, come out with more detailed numbers later this month.
And maybe to round off this presentation, we wanted to make it short and just present it. Is there any synergies you can see in the online your online platform for selling used e-cars also with this? I guess it's a very good backbone support for the OCS business, but do you see any synergies, any advantages also on the online used car sales platform?
It's clear that we see those two together as being the perfect ecosystem, because we are selling e-cars, we are selling them including a service contract to our OCS business, and we are feeding ourselves with PDI work, with services, etc. So there's a very good synergy between those two, absolutely.
And I think, could there come some extra out of also Merkonomen? Would that be in areas where you maybe not are covered for the service? Could there be some advantages supporting that business further?
Of course, it can give us a unique advantage when we want to move into areas where we're not established already. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. I think we got through most of the questions. Thank you to you, Claus and Mikkel, for sharing some of the thoughts, some of the ideas, and the strategic rationale behind this. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
All right. Take care.